How on earth did you do it all?
You're better off being a happy working parent than a miserable stay-at-home one. There's no shame in that, none whatsoever.
My goal as a parent was to connect with my kids, but I went about it all wrong.
We're all human. We all make mistakes, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with not being perfect. Who'd want to be around a perfect person anyway? Wouldn't it be boring? I like funny people. I like human people. I like people who laugh at themselves, and most people do. Ease up on yourself. Can't do it all. Welcome to the Bratbusters Parenting Podcast. My name's Lisa Bunnage. I'm a parenting coach. I'm a mom. I'm also a grandmother.
And I'm Amy Bunnage, Lisa's daughter, and I handle the marketing and planning here at Bratbusters. While I don't have kids, each episode will dive into parenting topics and Lisa will answer your questions. Let's get started.
Okay, sweetie, what are we talking about this episode?
Today's topic is the pressure to do it all as a parent.
Oh, good one. The pressure to do it. You know, I always forget the title of everything, so I'm going to write it down. The pressure to do it all. Yeah. You can do it all, but you can't do it all 100%. Obviously, you're going to be spread out a little bit. So I think that's the thing, is that you want to do it all perfectly. You can't. Something's got to give. And it doesn't all have to give at the same time. You might be really full on at work one week, and then the next week it's more about parenting. So it's going to chop and change. I think the best message that I want to get across is be easy on yourself. You can't be great at everything. You can be good at a lot of things, but you can't be fantastic at everything. Because you're only one person. So go easy on yourself.
I think, touch on the idea that there is no such thing as the perfect parent.
Of course not. And it's not a very good example to set for your kids. Lord knows I didn't set that. I was a good leader, but I made a lot of mistakes. I was goofy. I was always messing up with certain things. I was very, relatable as a parent. You want to look like it's okay to make mistakes. In other words, it's okay to be human. So this perfection idea, I never understood that with people that want to look perfect. I like self-deprecating humor and all that. It's our flaws that make us fun and relatable and easy to be around. It's not our perfection that attracts people to us. It's our flaws. Like, not big ones, but you know what I mean? Like being vulnerable, being human, making mistakes. That's all part of what makes us human, what makes us likable. And you don't want to come across as being perfect at everything. You want to do your best, not maybe all the time even. You might be too tired, but go easy on yourself. Don't expect too much from yourself or other people.
I think just touching on the idea of the perfect parents, I know from my experience growing up, I have some friends who their parents possibly had that image of not making mistakes. And I think that from my observation, it did put a lot of pressure on these kids.
It did, because they saw that their parents made mistakes, but they didn't own up to it either. So it teaches kids that, wait a minute, if you make mistakes, just pretend you didn't. They get defensive. In other words, there's something wrong with making mistakes. I certainly didn't want my kids to think that. I thought, we all life is messy. People are messy. That's part of life. It's okay to make mistakes, but you make amends and do better next time. But it's okay to make mistakes. So you're not going to be perfect at everything. You can't do it all the time. You can be pretty good at everything, but you can't be great at everything. It's impossible. You're only one person.
Yeah, I think that we'll get into the questions. So we have Charlotte from the United Kingdom. Hi, Lisa and Amy. I hope you're both well. I lived in Vancouver for a while and thought the grouse grind was killer, so I loved hearing about you two racing up it. I have another question for you. I'm from the UK and the mom of a 3-month-old and a 3-year-old. How on earth did you do it all? Making all the kids' clothes from scratch, cooking everything from scratch, cleaning everything to the highest standards, and playing lots with your kids. Oh, and fitness too. I try so hard to play so much with my 3-year-old and the baby, but obviously she needs less. We're always in a new mission or often in a pretend adventure. We paint, we bake, we do puppet shows. I make silly voices with her toys, etc. But I then find it so hard to keep on top of the house, and then I get overwhelmed and burned out and end up showing my frustration because, quite frankly, I've had enough of playing and I just want to clean and sort out some mom stuff too. I just can't strike a balance. I've started telling my 3-year-old that I need to do mummy chores now, and I do get her to help with the cooking and out in the garden. But still, I don't understand how you manage to keep everything to such a high standard and stay so calm. I never get any time for me, and I don't mind, but it makes staying calm really hard. I applaud and respect you, but seriously, what am I doing wrong? I think I'm working too hard at this or something. Please, can you shed some light? Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
It wasn't perfect by any means, although I was a stay-at-home mom, so I had all the time. That was my focus, was my kids and my home. That I wasn't working outside of the home, so that made that easier. Also, it's my basic nature to be very organized and very clean. So I didn't have a lot of stuff around. That made it easier. And I would say, if anything, I would say the thing that I was the worst at was cooking. God, I hate cooking. I mean, I hate it I cook with hate. I really hate it. But I made everything from scratch. It wasn't the best. You know, it was funny. When we first moved to Canada, we spent a lot of time going around to family dinners and that. And my son said, "Gee, everyone is such a good cook." And then he went, "Oh, I get it. Never mind." I can cook well. I just choose not to all the time because I hate doing it. But yeah, so that was something give, right? And I'm not a great seamstress, but I did make all our clothes. But I found one pattern that worked, and I would shorten it for shorts and flounce it out for a dress. And so I was a slap dab sewer, but I did make all our clothes. But yeah, I didn't do it all perfectly, but I was a stay-at-home mom. I had time to do it. And plus, this is my lane. I love doing it. You tend to be pretty good at something you love. I love homemaking. I love being a mom. So that was my lane. I was kind of obsessed with all that stuff. So what you're obsessed with, you tend to be pretty good at, right? Whole bunch of I wasn't obsessed with cooking. That's for sure. So yeah, and I wasn't great at everything. I was into fitness and my home and my kids. So yeah. And when I went to the gym, and also, oh, you said you don't have time for yourself. That was my time to myself. The kids would go in the gym daycare. From the time they were up on their feet and walking confidently, I went right back to the gym. So they were about a year and a half around there, maybe a year to a year and a half. I'd go back to the gym. And then they'd go in the daycare. And the daycare ladies used to laugh and make jokes about the fact that, now, wait a minute, the aerobics class is 1 hour, but all you moms are gone for 2 hours. We walked very, very slowly back to the daycare. So we had a lot of time to ourselves. We were talking and talking, and the kids were having a great time. So yeah, I had time to myself while I was working out, or walking very slowly back to daycare. The kids were having their social life. So I found a way to round it all out. I wasn't perfect by any means. Nobody is. Nobody is. But that was my lane, though. I just want to say that. That was my lane. That, I love kids. I love being around kids. That's why I volunteered with kids for so many years. And so it was my lane.
And that I think that's why we chose this question and to do this episode in the first place. Is I wouldn't want someone listening to you and thinking that they need to approach parenting with that exact same lens. Because even like I'm your daughter, and I think that I will approach like the parenting style very similar one day when I'm a mom. But I know I'm a very different person, and I know I will not be keeping the house the same way. And I know like I will not be able to just play all day and that'll just fill up my cup. And I know that about myself. And so I think that it's an unrealistic expectation for a lot of
Well,
people.
you're more a career than I was. You love working. Like, she keeps me on my toes with this business, I'll tell you. She loves working, and you're going to be a fabulous mom. But one thing you're going to be fabulous at is, you already know,
Oh, cooking.
cooking. She loves to cook. Both of us love nutrition. That's why I made everything from scratch. She'll be fabulous at meal prep and cooking and all that stuff. That'll be more her lane. She won't be on the ground playing as much as I did. That was my lane. So yeah, we're all different. It doesn't mean that we're better. It just means that we're different. By the way, I teach this for a reason. I teach it because it is my lane. I was obsessed with kids. When I was little, I was always trying to figure them out. I literally can remember being a little kid mothering other little kids. Like, I always was trying to mother kids. So I was born to do this. So this is my lane. So if it did seem to be easy for me, it's because it's my lane. It was easy for me. I did enjoy parenting, but I had a lot of experience with other people's kids before I had my own. So it's my lane. It's a whole bunch of stuff I'm sure you're better at than I am. So you just don't see that because you only see me talking about parenting.
I think that's an important piece. And yeah, I just want to touch on that just because if
Very
you're
important.
listening, I just don't want those expectations to be set too high for yourself.
Gosh, no, it's ridiculous. Yeah, don't compare yourself to me with parenting if you don't love it as much as I did. That's not fair. And I'm not going to compare myself to you when it comes to maybe writing or whatever your job is. I mean, we're all different. We all have strengths, right? But parenting, unfortunately, once you got kids, you're going to have to deal with it. I don't always have to deal with some of the stuff that maybe you're good at, but everyone, if you're going to have kids, you're going to have to deal with parenting. That's what I'm here for. But if you're better off going to work, if you love your job, you're better off being a happy working parent than a miserable stay-at-home one. There's no shame in that, none whatsoever. If you're more happy going out to work, go to work. Don't stay home if you're going to be miserable staying home with kids. They are not that mentally stimulating for sure. That's why I was at the gym chatting all the way back to the daycare, walking, 1 inch per hour. I mean, we really did ramble, but like we rambled, talk, 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 talk. So we got in our adult time. It's funny thing is though, is when all of us moms would get together, what would we talk about? The kids. Weird, eh? But that's all we had. We weren't working. We were stay-at-home moms. So all we had to talk about was the kids. But it doesn't make you a worse or a better mom. Just don't compare yourselves to others. You do you. So long as you want to be happy, though. If you're working and you're happy working, then work. If you're not, then stay at home, be happy at home like I was. But it's not for everybody. But I'm teaching you because it was for me. I'm teaching you what I was kind of bored to do, I believe. So, but there's a whole bunch of stuff I could never teach. Whole bunch of stuff I'm sure you could teach me.
Just envisioning the dust bunnies that'll start collecting in my house.
That's fine. And I never judge anyone else for I love cleaning and I never care about anyone else's house. I don't believe that and I never taught my kids to clean like I did because I didn't think that was that important. It was important to me, but I didn't think it's that important to be that fussy. So I didn't put that on my kids at all. And I don't like to clean in front of other people. I'm a closet cleaner. I like to clean when I'm alone. It's my meditation. But I didn't want my kids to feel that they had to clean like that they're lesser people because they might have dust bunnies. I didn't want them to feel that way.
I don't take my value as a person based off of that.
Whereas I do.
Just differences.
That's right.
But if I cook a meal and someone doesn't like it,
Whereas I could care less. Eat the slop or go home. I don't care.
Got me.
I know, it's so fun. But if anyone insulted my cleaning, it would be horrible. So yeah, we're all different, right?
Okay, I think we have a few more questions on this topic, so I'll get into those. Elzette from South Africa. So juggling a newborn who's 4 months and then twins who are 3 years and 10 months. Started getting into a rhythm with the newborn, but the girl twins started saying, "You always are feeding the baby." Crying for help. How do I connect if I'm always feeding, burping, putting to sleep? Then have to prep and cook and do other household tasks in between.
Okay, that's always a tough one for me because babies are very demanding. They take a lot of time. The girls are 3.5. You know what I would do though? I would have like rituals. Whenever you're feeding the baby, I would have a ritual. I would be playing a game with them. And you say, okay, let's play the feeding game. So it's a game that they play only when you're feeding the baby. Okay, it should be something like that. Like they only do it when you're feeding the baby. So they don't get resentful towards that. That, yay, it's game time with mom because she's sitting down feeding a baby. You got nothing else to do, right? So yeah, try that. But it is just a rougher time. When you got a new baby in the house, they take up a lot of your energy. It's just the way it is. They will survive. The baby will grow up and be a little toddler running around. And the 3-year-olds, they'll be 4 by then. But you get what I mean. It's all temporary.
Okay, we have Ela from the United States. Do you have any advice for twin parents? Mine are 2.5 years old and run me ragged no matter how consistent I try to be.
Not really. And if they're close in age, that's kind of similar too. But yeah, 2.5-year-olds, you're in it. That's the physical stage. They're very draining physically. So yeah, I don't really have any advice. Just check out my free behavior board though. That does tell you how to discipline, not twins, but not specifically, but toddlers. It's the behavior board starts at 3, but I also have a section in there for toddlers. So you might want to check that out, how to start exercising your leadership, how to discipline effectively, and the importance of play. You always play in their world. Not in your world. So whatever they like doing, you enter their world. Sit on the floor with them and play with them. But yeah, I don't have any general advice for that.
One thing you do talk about is possibly buying duplicates.
Oh yeah, I do have some advice. If you if you're gonna buy them a toy, like it's not a really expensive one, you could buy them the same. Yeah, but make sure you get different colors though, and or something different. You have to put their name on it or something because they're gonna fight over which one is which if they're identical. So you can just put literally a name tag on them. If you get them different colors, even though they pick it out at the start, they might fight over the colors later on. But some of them don't. They might have a favorite color though. Like if one loves purple, the other one loves pink already. Then I would do that. But yeah, you can get them the same toy. If they're going to fight over stuff otherwise, you can say, okay, so you can't get along. So you come with me. Take one of them with you and you just talk to them in the kitchen while you're doing dishes for 5 minutes or whatever. Then say, okay, back you go. Don't say don't fight again. Remember, we don't talk like that. Don't say don't fight again. Just say, okay, go back and play, have fun. And then when they fight again, you take the other twin back with you and then for 5 minutes or so. So you keep removing them from each other. They're going to get bored with that and they'll probably learn how to get along or at least not bother each other while they're playing. But it's a slow burn. It takes a while. It's not going to happen overnight. consistency, repetition.
Okay, so the next question is Diane from Australia. Kids are 5, 2, and 6 months. How do I organize my kids when all three want mom? My 2-year-old especially insists on sitting next to me, and I'm getting tired of the crying and fighting for space next to me.
Well, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what you're doing. You might want to check out again the behavior board for the 5-year-old, and then it also has a toddler section on there. Also, when you're playing, play play stuff, play to the youngest one. You never play Monopoly with kids. If you want to connect with kids, the worst thing you can do is play a competitive game. What you want to do is you want to dance with them. Just even when you're cooking dinner, you can be singing songs with them. So you don't need parents are always looking for that block of time to connect with their kids. That's not how it works. You're cooking dinner, you're singing a song. You're on the floor, you're playing with them. It's all physical stuff, like goofy stuff. You could be just throwing a ball to each other, a big beach ball or something like that. And yeah, just make it silly, fun, not competitive, and then say, okay, I'm going to go cook dinner now. And then, yeah, but you gotta connect in spurts sometimes. It's not just this big block of time. You got to say, okay, so here's the beach ball. You guys can play with this, and I'll come back in and I'll check in with you when I get something else on the stove or whatever. So yeah, little snippets here and there. But don't look for that big block of time. You're not going to get it, by the way.
It's an illusion.
It is an illusion.
Okay, we have Megan from the United States. My son will be 3 next week. Since day one, he's been the perfect little angel all up until about 2 months ago. He's still a very good boy by nature, highly intelligent and advanced for his age. Already counts to 20 and can sing the whole alphabet and even knows how to read a few words. Also, he sleeps 12 hours each night. Okay, end of bragging. I'm an easygoing mom, not much of a disciplinarian, unless he does the occasional hit or throws something or what have you. Full disclosure, I've been listening to your podcast for a few months now, and the advice to not feed the tantrums has helped immensely. We usually go through the tough moments okay, but my biggest concern is what goes on during meal times. It's like pulling wisdom teeth to get this kid to eat, and when he does, he only eats a small portion. I find myself having to use bribery or trickery with cookies and treats each time, and I don't like doing that because it starts to feel like I'm creating a dependency on sugary foods, which will negatively impact his health later in life. I try to stick it out, but sometimes mealtime takes so long and I find myself either throwing away food or storing it to only be rejected later. I have a busy life and my husband and I can't afford to sit with him at the table for half an hour or more. It's shocking to me because in the past he loved to try everything I made, and he always had a very hearty appetite. This change in his eating habits seemed to go hand in hand with his recent behavioral changes. What is your take on creating a smooth mealtime experience for all parties involved?
Well, it's a lot in there. Yeah, I can't discuss nutrition because I'm not qualified to do so, right? I'm just a parenting coach. But I will say that kids have different appetites at different times. Maybe he's just not going through a growth spurt. That could be it. If you're really concerned about the fact he's not eating very much, you could take him to a doctor, have him checked out, make sure that's all okay. But also, if they're not eating a proper meal, there's no way my kids would get a cookie. Like you're using that as a bribe. And he doesn't, if he's not eating very much anyway, he shouldn't be getting any junk food. So, you know what I mean? Like, don't use that as a bribe at all. But also just say, okay, so we're going to sit and have dinner now. And don't call attention to the fact he's not eating. If he won't eat, you just say, okay, we're all done now after about 20 minutes or whatever. Okay, we're all done. Pack up his food, put it in the fridge. And if he gets hungry later on, pull it back out again. Don't do that for 2 or 3 days. It's just for the rest of that night. Okay, so if he won't eat dinner. But yeah, it sounds like he's just holding out and waiting for the junk food. You know what I'm saying? Could be that. Um, yeah. In my course, I do have a whole section on mealtime battles. It is by far one of my least favorite topics. By far. Do you allow him to eat around the house? That's another problem, that if they won't sit and eat a meal at the table, if they're used to being able to wander around with something, that could be it too. Maybe he just wants to eat while he's wandering around the house. That could be it. So like my kids never got food except at the table. They didn't know any different. They literally didn't even know you could eat other than at the table. So that could be it. He doesn't equate food with that table. He just wants to eat with a cookie walking around the house. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's why it's hard for me to comment. But in my boot camp course, I have a whole section on mealtime battles. You might want to check that out if you're really struggling with that. But yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on there. And kids often, at around 3, they often sort of get either, that's sort of the fork in the road. They either get easier or they get worse. So it's like, it depends on your leadership. If you're a really calm leader leading up to that 3rd birthday, they tend to become really easy. And then if you're not, then they tend to take over. They go, "Wait a minute, you don't know what you're doing. You're not in charge. You're not a leader. I think I'll do it." So, yeah, could be that too. Whole bunch of stuff going on there. So I don't know what to target with that other than the fact that, yeah, I'd cut back on the junk food if he's not eating meals.
You do talk about the importance as well of sitting down with your kids while they're eating.
Yeah, you gotta sit with them. That was fun, like, we'd sit down whenever my kids were eating, I was with them. So and we were chatting the whole time. So it was like a social time, and like I said, they didn't have any other option. If they had to sit down at the dining room table or the kitchen table to eat. So then I would be sitting with them and we'd chat. Even if I wasn't eating, I might have eaten at a different time, I still sat with them. So, yeah, that's a social time. Sit and chat. And I don't remember discussing the food very much. And I did cook around their taste buds too. So I knew what they liked, and but I would sneak healthy because I cook everything from scratch. I would sneak healthy stuff into everything. So, like, I remember the first time my son ever had pizza out somewhere else. He said, "Mom," he was about 3, and he said, "Mom, the sauce was really weird. It was red." He thought sauce was brown on a pizza because I put pureed spinach in my sauce. So I was very good at sneaking healthy stuff into everything. And if they didn't like the vegetables, they had to have 3 vegetables every night at dinner. They usually had, I think it was corn, no, it was broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots, I think. And I would put cheese sauce on top. Well, that cheese sauce wasn't just cheese sauce. I had maybe other stuff in there too. Maybe got some seeds in there or whatever. I was very good at sneaking healthy stuff into everything. But I did cook around what they liked. And I didn't fuss over the food. I just said, well, you can either eat it or not. But if you're hungry later, it's going to come back out. So anyway, it's kind of an awkward topic for me because it is a tricky one. I need to know more details with each specific family to give them really good advice. But in the course, I've covered an awful lot of that because it gives so many different variables with mealtime, just tons of different variables. Like, are you sitting with them? Are you pushing food on them while you're there? Or is it fun? Is it food that they like? And, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, we have one final question. So, Faith from the United States, mom to 4 kids, 12-year-old son, 7-year-old daughter, 5-year-old son, and 16-month-old daughter. We have way too much stuff. It's unmanageable. My kids play me like a fiddle. I'm 32 years old and I come from a family of 10 kids myself. I'm the middle, the 5th kid. My goal as a parent was to connect with my kids, but I went about it all wrong. You see, my mom didn't have time to connect. It was all demanding verbiage, such as do chores, gospel talk, or you were ignored. Siblings entertained each other, and there was very little leadership happening. As a parent myself, I've missed the mark. I went above and beyond to give them all the stuff that proved I loved them, but I actually didn't know how to connect with them until I started listening to you. Now we have too much stuff to do anything. It's impossible to be picked up at the end of the day, and my kids are not big fans of cleaning anything. They also have a huge, ginormous attachment to all of their toys. What can I do?
Do a toy rotation. Just say to them, from now on, we're going to rotate your toys. You each get 5 toys. We're not throwing anything away. You can say that to them. We're not throwing anything away. It's all going to be put away, and you each get 5 toys. And that's it. And then every week we'll do another rotation. They have to put those, whatever they're not playing with, you put those away. But then you can say to them, okay, so I'll tell you what, if you're willing to give up or donate one of these toys, you can have 6 toys the next week, 7 toys the next week. But every time they get more each week, they have to literally donate one to give away. And you'll find out pretty quick what they do and don't play with. So the attachment to toys, I can't really deal with that. And then I don't quite know why they'd be so attached to toys unless they see you being attached to all your stuff. Like, I'm not a stuff person and my kids weren't either. And we had very minimal stuff, but I still did a toy rotation. So, because if you have all your stuff in front of you, you don't see anything. If there's too much stuff, they can't focus on anything. So, if they have very few toys out and they're different each week, they're more likely to entertain themselves and stay more focused. But they're probably more attached to the clutter, the feeling of stuff, but not specifically each thing as much. I'm guessing that could be it. Maybe it's comforting to them because that's all they've ever known, maybe. I'm
Okay,
not sure.
that was it for the questions. But maybe do you want to touch on, if you're a working parent, how do you approach these, like, how do you approach calm leadership parenting when you're not able to be home all the time?
I would say most of my clients are working. Most of them are. And most kids are at school or at daycare, right? So they're busy during the day. They come home. I think there should be a transition time. So when you get home, I think you should spend at least 5 minutes. It can just be literally doing a TikTok dance or something with them. Literally spend 5 minutes just connecting with your kids when you get home. It sets the energy for the night. So it's important to reset the energy. So they come home, you're all tired, you're all worn out, you just want to get dinner, you just want to get some laundry done, you just want to, you don't go right into that. Takes 5 minutes as soon as you get home and do something connecting with your kids. It could just be telling a joke, doing hula hoop out in the backyard. It could be anything, just 5 minutes to change the energy. And it sets the tone for the whole night too.
Anything else you want to touch on with this?
I think that's it. I forgot the topic as usually. What was the title of the podcast?
The pressure to do it all as a
Oh,
parent.
that's ridiculous. And it's not just with parenting, but it's like with everything. There's this saying, I can't remember what it is. I don't even want to quote it now. But if you're trying to be great at everything, you're not going to be, if you're trying to be great at everything, you're not going to be good at anything. So you just say, you know what, I'm going to give this much to that, this much to that. But it may vary, may change throughout the week, but you just ease up on yourself. You can't be great at everything. It's impossible. You can have it all, but you can't have it all and be great at it all because there's only one of you. And back off. When you see other people doing it all, they aren't. It's just the image. There might be the odd person who slips through the crack and actually is doing it all and doing it really well, but that's rare. They're going to burn out. Yeah, just be more realistic and be more. Ask people, say, how do you do it all? It looks like you're doing it all. Chances are they're going to say, no, I don't. You should see my house. It's a pigsty. Or you should see my filing cabinet or whatever. My computer's messed up. There's always something that's got to give. Just accept that fact and go with it and be easy on yourself.
I think that's a really good message because especially on social media, I think that there's so many examples of people who may seemingly be able to do it all.
And what's interesting is those people, I don't follow any of that really, but I know that I've heard that behind the scenes, there was all sorts of chaos going on, and it often comes out later on. So yeah, images are very, what I would do is if I was going to look up parenting stuff online and just to relate to other parents, I would look up funny parenting fails. You'll feel like $1 million about yourself. Not that they're doing so horribly, but we all mess up. They're just like you. They're like me. They're like everybody. We're all human. We all make mistakes, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with not being perfect. God, who'd want to be around a perfect person anyway? Wouldn't it be boring? Ugh. I like funny people. I like human people. I like people who laugh at themselves. And most people do. Okay? So ease up on yourself. Can't do it all. Or if you are doing it all, you're going to crash and burn if you're trying to do everything perfectly. So ease up. Either the housekeeping's got to go, your fitness something's got to give. You got to give some, you know what I'm saying? You got to ease up on something. So anyway, okay. So I think that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy parenting.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're ready to dive deeper, check out bratbusters.com to learn more about the behavior board, parenting courses, and private one-on-one coaching with Lisa. If you've enjoyed the show so far, we'd love it if you could take a moment to follow, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more parents just like you. The information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional advice. Lisa is a parenting coach, mom, and grandmother. She is not a licensed psychologist or counselor. Her services do not replace the care of psychologists or other healthcare professionals. For a full disclaimer, please visit bratbusters.com/disclaimer.